Okay, so with this section of the podcast, we're actually going to be talking about the best and worst transfers of this window. So I don't know who wants to go first.
Are we starting with best or worst?
I say we start with best.
Start with best?
Start on a good note. Ashley, what's your best?
Okay, so Ferran Torres to Barcelona.
Wow.
This is Europe's top 5 leagues as well.
Yeah.
Because the Premier League hasn't been too busy, so there's not very much, much to pick from. Anyway, so Ferran Torres came to City. He won the league. Obviously it's Man City. Everyone wins the league there, but he still came in and was a part of that system. Contributed 12 goals in 28 games, and obviously this is me explaining why I think it's a good signing for Barcelona. He was constantly shifted about Man City, just like every player is. He was up front, he was on the wing, he was everywhere, probably at cam at one point. That makes him versatile, And Barcelona, they're in desperate need of some young talent to liven up their attack. I think we're all in agreement with that. Is De Jong still going? Yeah, he is still going, isn't he?
Yeah.
Aguero retired, unfortunately, but there's the hard fact is that with Dembele, I think they want Dembele at the club. Barcelona are in desperate need of someone like Ferran Torres, and Barcelona is 6th in the Liga, and they're 15 points behind Real Madrid in first, which is horrific for them. But Ferran Torres, he's been coached under Pep. And who else knows the Barcelona system, the Barcelona way of playing things better than Pep? And then Xavi was a player under Pep. Now Ferran Torres, he's learned from Pep. Now he's going to Xavi. Xavi pretty much, is implementing what Pep did. It just makes a lot of sense. And 55 million isn't bad at all. So that's the best for me.
You explaining how it all links back to Pep. I'm imagining you in a court, as a detective, pointing up the killer. You've got all these tapes on the wall, going, yes, and this is why it's going to work. But
that's how I planned it.
It does work. He's obviously a Spanish footballer moving back to Spain. He did very well with Valencia. It's a shame. I really liked him in the Premier League, and he really wasn't given that much of a chance. I'd compare it to Leroy Sané, where they're very good, but
I just he's given a chance. I just think, we spent £100 million on Jack Grealish. We want him involved a bit more.
Yeah, I guess. But he clearly is a good footballer. And my only question about it is, where the hell are Barcelona getting this money from?
We'll get on to talking about each of the players. I think.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go?
Yeah, you go. What's your best?
My
transfer?
best January signing so far is Luca Digne.
Very good shout.
Luca Digne, a forgotten man at Everton. Rafa Benitez did not like him one bit, was not playing him, despite the fact that he's a world-class, I would argue, he's left back.
He's top of the stats in terms of their creativity.
Outstanding. And he contributes all over the pitch. He's already contributed for Villa since signing. He got the assist on the weekend, and he has been a very good signing. And considering they got him for £25 million, I think it's a big loss for Everton and an absolutely massive game for Villa. Just when you want to improve a position, you look at all the options, and Luca Digne, probably at left back, is one of the top in the world.
One of the top in the league. In the league, I think there's a group of left backs, and that's the rest. You got Robertson, Digne, Tierney, Shaw, and then there's a bit of a drop off. You can maybe say Reguilon's in the little gap, but all of them in terms of because what do we judge a modern fullback by? They've got to be able to defend, and all the left backs I've mentioned have a competent level of defending. But how well are they going forward? And Digne is phenomenal going forward. His delivery, his accuracy. When you look at his, not XG, XA, for Everton.
He's arguing my point for me.
It's a joke.
It's a joke.
Oh, it's a joke.
Yeah, he's arguing my point for me.
Sorry.
I just think he's a world-class left back. Contributes going forward, contributes coming back. The perfect left back, and quite frankly, I think Villa's best signing of the transfer window.
Better than Coutinho.
Over Coutinho.
Well, that's funny because that's my best pick. That's a really nice transition. But yeah, I've gone for Philippe Coutinho, or Felipe Coutinho. Sorry. He's what more needs to be said? He's a phenomenal player. Had a great time in the Premier League. Career hasn't quite worked out since leaving. Had that one good season at Bayern on loan, but besides that, really not really working out for him. And he had that amazing debut against Man United. Sorry to mention it, but he had that amazing debut against Man United. Nothing's really happened since for him, but he's a good signing on loan. I really think it's a great move for Villa, especially considering they've really struggled in terms of Buendia finding complete form. Now he's finding a little bit of form, so him working with Buendia would be really nice to see. And I think it's a phenomenal signing. I'm not going to argue too much in this case. So I think Digne is a good signing as well. all of our signings are good signings.
Oh, 100%.
And I just think more for the idea of Coutinho going to Aston Villa is a massive, massive move for Aston Villa.
Aston Villa should be where West Ham are. So their squad is so exciting. Obviously, West Ham have been
I
brilliant.
mean, at the start of the season, I predicted Villa to be where West Ham are, and I thought West Ham would drop off because of the Europa League. And Villa started the season so poorly, it really cost them. As you can't really see them scratching top 8 now because of their poor start. But that's all I'll say about Coutinho. So
we need to come to a conclusion.
Well, we need to debate.
Can I start with Ferran Torres?
Go on then.
Ferran Torres, he said about Barcelona's funds. Has it actually been confirmed yet?
No, it actually hasn't. Well, no, they've done a video of him in the show, but he hasn't officially. No, I think he has been registered.
Has he been registered?
No, because I remember they made a post announcing him, and then like a week later they made a post saying registered. I'm like, what club does that?
Okay,
where they have to announce that he's registered.
Right, I take back what I just said.
He is
I didn't know if he was registered.
I knew he was registered.
I think he is registered. It took him a week to get registered.
Has he played yet?
I don't think so.
No, he has.
He has.
He's got 1 assist in the league.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, I thought he
in
did.
One game? 2 games?
1 game. I'm pretty sure it's 1 game.
So basically, he has the same record as Luca Digne.
But Coutinho's got a goal, so best signing.
But it's Ferran Torres.
It's Luca Digne.
Just for Coutinho.
And look, maybe I haven't. No, you
set us up.
Hang on. Let me.
Yeah, go for it.
A bit of a think.
A bit of a think.
Look, it's Ferran Torres, all right. He played really well for Man City. Okay,
one of us needs to concede here.
I think I'd go as far as to say nearly every top side in Europe would have taken Ferran Torres.
Yeah, I think so.
Right, my player is gone to Barcelona. Everyone's going to love him. Your player failed at Barcelona. Okay, so did yours, right?
Hold on a minute.
And mine isn't actually. He's played 1 game, but that's 1 assist. Not bad. 100% assist record. Blimey. And anyway, I just think I'd rather sign Ferran Torres. I think it's a bigger signing than Digne or Coutinho.
I'll be honest. Your signing is probably the biggest signing due to the fact that he's like a young forward, really exciting. 50 mil, 55 mil,
55, yeah.
I mean,
player that didn't really play for City though.
He's played 12 times.
No,
he played 28 times.
He started the season really well. People will forget that. He started this season very well, then got an injury.
He had 28 appearances.
Played since it.
28 appearances. There's more than that's plenty.
He had a really good hat-trick as well last season against Newcastle.
He scored that insane goal against Newcastle as well.
That mad volley from a free kick. That was mental. But
anyway, I just think Ferran Torres is a really progressive signing. It's really nice. It's instead of Coutinho for 100 and whatever million, it's Ferran Torres who's young. He's already proven himself in one of the top leagues in the world, or the top league in the world. 55 million isn't that bad. And I know they have no money, but 55 million is a lot better than what they've done in the past. Yeah. It's a good sign for Barcelona.
It is definitely a good signing.
Tell you what, if we're all going to stick with what we've said, because I think this is the first time I've ever been in a debate where I don't think any of us are going to budge easy.
I don't think
maybe we put it up to.
I think Digne is better than Coutinho.
I do think Digne is better than Coutinho.
Shut up.
Okay,
do you want me to concede?
Why is Coutinho a better signing than Digne?
Fine, I'll concede. Digne is a better signing than Coutinho. The only reason I went Coutinho is because you said Digne.
And Digne, he's proven himself recently in the Premier League. Coutinho hasn't been there very long.
No. Okay. So I will pick which signing I think is better out of Digne and Ferran Torres.
And you like Fernando Torres, remember? And Ferran Torres sounds a lot like Fernando Torres.
I do love Fernando Torres.
You love a wing back. Left back, right back.
Digne.
I do love wing backs.
You love a fullback.
I do love Fernando Torres.
Digne.
Luca Dean.
Digne.
Luca Dean. I'm going to go. I'm sorry, Jordan. I'm going to go Ferran Torres. I do really like Ferran Torres. I think he's a really good player.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but yeah.
Well, we'll leave the rest up to
We'll put the vote up, but we need to move on to our worst players. I'm going to start on this one. El Ghazi to Everton. Absolutely shocking. I mean, Everton have come up on this twice already for their, a really, great signing from their club, and a really poor signing from the club they sold. Sold Digne to. It's just What the hell?
Was it a part of the deal?
No,
I don't think it was.
I don't think it was a separate transfer. It was a completely separate. It just happened.
But it happened like right after each other. You know what I mean?
I guess there was some sort of like gentleman's agreement in terms of how they were doing the business.
Okay.
It seems like it.
Yeah. But like they were dealt with as separate transfers because there was a proper fee in place and everything. But yeah, El Ghazi. I mean, he barely features for Villa. Like, he was a regular for them during the Championship, but since they've been promoted, he's been a bit part player. And, you know, if he's a bit part player for Villa when they were struggling in the Premier League, then how is that going to help Everton? Like, it's just, from my perspective, it's a really poor signing. Anyway, I don't really know what else to say on the matter. Ashley?
Yeah, it's quite strange because I don't remember the last time we debated for something that's the worst. We've always gone like, oh, my player's really good.
Who is awful?
Well, I'll tell you who's awful, Isaac. It's, how do you say that? Vitaly Mikalenko.
Vitaly Mikalenko is how do you pronounce it?
It's quite easy, isn't it?
In the Ukrainian accent.
Yeah, he is actually Ukrainian, and he comes from Dynamo Kiev. Everton have just signed him for £30 million.
That's a lot of money.
For a player from Dynamo Kiev as well.
I mean, also, did you see his first game? He got absolutely targeted.
That's my point.
In the FA Cup against Hull.
And he was awful against Norwich.
Yeah.
I don't, if he hadn't have played... Yeah, and he signed the other day. I would not be picking this guy, but the fact that he's cost them £30 million from Dynamo Kiev and Everton trying to save money at the moment. Like, look at the summer. They spent about £2 on Damari Gray and Andros Townsend, and then they just got to spend £30 million on this guy when they're trying to save up for a new stadium. This doesn't really make sense when they could have gone and spent that money on a proven player or a player that's just more likely that's going to turn out all right for you. Over the last couple of years. This is kind of Everton's policy. They just keep on splashing out 30 mil, 20 mil. This kind of stuff adds up, and then all of a sudden you're in a massive rut like they are in now.
And that is why you should sign Nuno Tavares for $6 million.
Anyway, Vitaly Mikalenko is mine.
So, Jordan?
I've struggled a lot to come up with the worst player, but I have got one. And you know what? While you guys were speaking, I've come up with more reasoning because obviously you guys know who I'm going for. I'm going for Chris Wood. Now... the first point I want to make is that this is mostly to do with the fact that it's a really bad sale rather than a bad signing, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Burnley getting rid of Chris Wood is a very bad decision for a team that is very, very much struggling in the league. Obviously, they have 9 games in hand or something.
Yeah.
But when you're in a relegation scrap, you need a decent striker, and Chris Wood, I would say, is that striker, and they just get rid of him at the first time of asking. Now, the point I was going to make that I've just come up with in my head is the fact that Newcastle on the grow, it's a really weird signing for Newcastle to get a striker like Chris Wood.
It's risky, isn't he, 32?
Yeah, he's getting on. Newcastle are trying to progress. They've made a very good signing in Kieran Trippier, who we have not talked about, by the way. Then, bringing in Chris Wood to play up front, Kieran Trippier is going to be running down the lane, crossing the ball into Chris Wood. It just doesn't really seem as progressive as Newcastle
You saying
would.
That makes me think that will be a goal because I think Trippier crossing it to Chris Wood. I think it's more a decision to sign him, which will relegate Burnley.
I think that's the only reason they have done it.
And he had a release clause, and then they could get it done quick.
Considering the deals that have been rumoured, Chris Wood is not up there. They've been rumoured to get Jesse Lingard. That deal's collapsed now. Yeah. There's been talks of Donny van de Beek going there as well.
I heard today that Lyon have just accepted a £34 million bid for them for Bruno Guimaraes.
Yeah, a decent signing. And then you just throw Chris Wood in there and he just looks a bit out of place. So not only is it a bad sell for Burnley, I think it's a bit of a weird signing for Newcastle.
It's weird. I wouldn't call it bad. You're right. It's weird.
I think that's why I'm going for him as the worst signing. The worst transfer. In the January transfer.
So what are we thinking? Who is the worst out of the 3 we've said? I think mine is pretty awful.
The thing about El Ghazi is, I think it is bad that they've made the signing.
Yeah.
Because it's really weird and it wouldn't help him in any way.
Yeah.
But he's not going to play.
Exactly.
How much do they pay for him?
I'm pretty sure they played like barely anything for
It was nothing.
It was pretty much barely nothing, I don't think.
I think it could have been a lot worse than El Ghazi.
Yeah.
I think it could have been a lot worse than El Ghazi.
Mikalenko is the most expensive out of the signings we've mentioned.
Yes.
And if you think of the drop-off between the man he's replacing and the man he is, it is pretty, massive.
No, of course.
What are we thinking here? Anyone?
I think yours is worse than mine.
You think El Ghazi's worse than Mikalenko?
Really?
As a signing?
Yeah, because
but
as much as
it's not an
Mikalenko,
expensive signing, it's low risk.
As much as it looks like a waste of money,
you think he's a young player, can develop, and El Ghazi is pretty much like, what is he, 29?
He's on the way out, yeah.
Yeah, so is Chris Wood.
Yeah, but Chris Wood at least performs consistently in the Premier League.
It's a bad signing for Newcastle, that's what you're saying.
I think it's just a weird signing.
I'm pretty honest, I'm pretty confident in my opinion.
I think yours is the best. I'd rather sign Chris Wood out of any of these players.
Yeah, same.
I mean, fair enough. That's because Arsenal need a bloody striker.
I will take anyone right now. Genuinely though, Chris Wood would do a job at Arsenal. Did you see us against Burnley? We played against Burnley and decided, I know what we should do against them. Let's cross the ball.
No, to be fair,
chuck Chris Wood in there. We win that game 3-0.
I'm going to concede purely because I don't think it's the worst signing. It's the weirdest signing.
Yeah, it's not like completely awful. It's just like questionable because it doesn't really fit with their new transfer strategy.
So I'll the thing is, you said you prefer his, and I was going to say I think yours is worse than his.
You've kind of already given up the game for mine.
No,
shut up, Ashley.
I was talking out my my bottom.
Because generally, I think his is worse. But at the same time, you said that his is worse, so I'm in a position where I have absolutely no idea.
It's your vote. It's your vote. Go with it.
I think Ashley's player is worse. Ashley's signing is worse than El Ghazi.
So we're going.
No, genuinely, I genuinely think Mikalenko.
My player.
Yeah,
if you want to go El Ghazi, go El Ghazi. But I think yours is worse.
That'd be an amazing switch.
It's a worse
I do think
signing.
El Ghazi's worse than this guy, though. This guy's promising.
Yeah,
he's like 23.
I also think
mine's like 29, pushing on 30.
I think it's a dreadful price. I think that's the worst thing about mine. But
and he's played a couple of games and he's not performed at all.
It's a big ask for someone to just jump straight into the Premier League.
Yeah, of course, but
okay, should we just run this?
I don't know.
So we go Mikalenko, yeah. So Mikalenko is officially the Footballing Question's worst signing, and our best signing is Ferran Torres to Barcelona. So those are our opinions. What do you think? But what do you think? Please, we'll have a poll on podcast, all that fun stuff. Please, 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 tell us what you think.